We were inspired by the movie Sound of Freedom.
After watching the movie, it was one of the things I kind of then made my eyes open more about watching kids out by themselves out in the public.
We wanted to put a project together, basically just to start the conversation between parents and kids, between administrators, between law enforcement. We realized that it probably doesn't look like that in Decatur, Adams, Wells County, maybe even Northeast Indiana.
We have had individuals travel here from different cities, even different states, to meet with children with the sole purpose of having sex with that child.
There are just people in every community that are looking to extort and victimize, especially our children.
In Wells County, we have had cases here. We have arrested and prosecuted individuals within our community for human trafficking.
We are a small town. However, we do have big city crime, just not as often. We train for it and we investigate for it.
Our investigators are doing their absolute very best to stay afloat with these investigations because there's so many of them going on.
While it may look different here, those same types of things are happening here. And if there was something that we could do locally to help spread that awareness and start that conversation, we wanted to do it.
A lot of people fear that people are coming into our communities and taking our children or abusing or exploiting our children, and that is not necessarily the case.
Our trafficking here typically comes from families and close friends.
Statistics tell us that human trafficking can happen in various forms.
Kids these days have access to so much as far as electronics go.
Kids have grown up with social media and with this technology, but that doesn't always mean that they quite understand what they're getting involved in.
The number one gateway for this to occur are these children having unrestricted access to phones and all social media platforms.
It might start off in Instagram, it might start off Facebook. Pictures might have been exchanged already over the internet, nude pictures, because they think they're sending them to maybe their boyfriend or just a friend or a girlfriend. Well, those pictures went to a 40-year-old man, and that's where the blackmail, the extortion might take place.
It's almost like a ransom. You've sent these images or videos to this person. You think it's this one person, but it's actually now it's someone totally different.
Kids are vulnerable to that for whatever reason, whether they're lonely or whether they don't feel like they've been understood or whatever the situation may be.
Kids are confused, don't know what to do, they're scared, they don't want to be in trouble, so they go along with it, and that goes down the dark alley.
If they don't want to get in trouble, they feel they've done something wrong, they're so susceptible to that extortion that follows up. If you tell anybody about this, I'm going to hurt your family. If you tell anybody about this, I'm going to share your pictures.
I can't imagine the anxiety that would cause as a young teenager to suddenly, oh my gosh, my body is about to be shown to all my classmates.
They need to be able to talk to us about anything. They need to feel free that they're not going to get in trouble. They're kids and they do things wrong all the time.
As a parent, I like to think that I'm pretty vigilant with that, but I also realize that I'm not with my kid 24/7. As much as I try to pay attention, I'm sure there's things that I've missed.
Kids will do things and they will explore, and again, they don't understand the ramifications often of their actions, but that's where the parents come in.
I think as parents, it isn't about necessarily being friends with our kids. We have to remind ourselves that we are still parents.
You have to be the parent first and a friend later.
I had Snapchat and I had the Instagram on my phone. It wasn't because I put stuff online, it was because I wanted to know what my kids were doing.
You work as a group. If you got two parents in the home, you both educate, talk to your kids, inspect their phone. Know their passwords and usernames. If you can't get into an app, delete that app off the phone. And you can Google what hidden apps kids are using on their phones. It might look like a calculator, but you plug in a certain number, 99 plus 99, and all of a sudden it opens up into a different app where they store photos, store videos.
As parents, it's important to be engaged in your kids' lives. Always know what they're doing, who they're talking to, especially on their phones and on their gaming consoles.
Kids are connecting with people who they may think are their peer out there in the world, but they're not.
I don't know my way around the Xbox and PlayStation. However, your kid does, that's for sure. Anytime they're on a gaming system that they can have access to other people across the globe, that means other people across the globe have access to your kid.
If you give your child unrestricted access to the internet, you're allowing anyone in the world to come into your house and spend time with your child.
So it's important to monitor those conversations online, especially on those gaming consoles.
Obviously, the economic situation of a family can be an issue. I mean, kids want things, and we can't always afford the nice things that we want. But there's people that are out there that will give you those nice things.
As parents, you can watch for your kids showing up with cool new toys, people buying clothes for them, new items. You can also look for the opposite of that, withdrawal, anxiety and depression, newly onset anxiety and depression.
Talk to coaches, talk to other teachers, talk to your kid's best friend. Hey, what's going on? Why have you seen this? And sometimes they might have seen the same changes, but they haven't asked yet.
Parents should be very aware of what their kids are engaged in, who they're talking to.
If a child has unrestricted access on their phone and to social media, that means the world has unrestricted access to that child.
And understand that those are a privilege. They're not a right to have those, and as parents, we need to set guidelines.
That's being a parent, and that's what we all have to do more of.
The police and sheriff's agencies that are involved in protecting the community are not the only people that are going to catch these people.
Everybody can check Offender Watch. It's a national database of their sex offenders, sexual predators.
We have made platforms available to the public, such as applications or an app through our sheriff's agency for crime tip reporting. Department of Child Services, you can report through them if you feel that something is not right with a child. Those are how we are going to get a vast majority of our cases to be able to look into, because we can't be in all places at all times.
Well, folks, if you are concerned about child trafficking in your area, you can certainly call your local law enforcement or the state police. You can also reach out to the National Center for Exploited and Missing Children.